Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is September 19th, 2021. This is episode 413. Rabid World is what we're looking at today. This is issue number 3, coming out from Scout Comics. I believe this is the only Scout Comics I am reviewing at this time. Comes in at a whopping $3.99. And it is a recommend. I'm loving this book. It's great. It's a zombie thriller, but with a different twist. I mean, the zombies in here seem to have kind of rabies type disease. So they can be bit. They don't have to be dead to come back to life and all that. But the one unique thing about this is they appear to have kind of a hive mentality. And what they've discovered about the virus itself is the initial person that got it incubated in them for quite a while until they came to a highly populated area. Once they did that and started infecting others, it dropped the incubation period. So the changeover to a crazed, rabid person in search of human flesh, the transformation takes a lot less time. So we got this nice cover here, this kind of swirl up, highly detailed. It shows the 82nd Airborne, a squad from them. They have gone on a mission, and they're getting overrun by the zombies. So let's get into this a little bit more. Really enjoying this one. It is really, really good. I know a lot of people are kind of sick of the zombie thing, but this is a little bit different, and I've been really enjoying it. So, Rabid World. The writer is Todd Sinani, I hope I said that right. The artist is Oleg Okunev, the letterer Lucas Grattoni. Editor is Andrea Lorenzo Molinari, and production is Joel Rodriguez. So we start off at Fort Levine. That is one of the strongholds, one of the places left alive. They are coming up with this mission here with the 82nd Airborne. I've got a group of them that are going to go back to Fredericks. I think it's called Frederickson, Maryland, and there's a hospital there with a Dr. Ulster that is got some samples of the virus, and they hope to get these samples back so they can take it to their underground facility here at Fort Levine and examine it and hopefully come up with some kind of vaccine or strategy. So this group is going to the Fredericks. Meanwhile, we've got another group. They're on the Gibberish, which is a sailboat. They escaped about the same time as the lone doctor did, who made it to Fort Levine. And I can't think of what his name is right now off the top of my head. But they are running low on supplies. They've been on the sailboat. They had they had kind of like a little armada of healthy people with them, but a group of them wanted to stay back at this lighthouse point and only to be overrun by zombies, and they were the lone ship to get away. But there's 4 of them left, 3 men and a woman, and they're running low on supplies. They decide to make a plan to find a deserted area and try to pick up the necessary propane and food needed. Then we switch back. The editing on this is just excellent. It is just bam, bam, bam. There's something going on in every scene, and then we flip back to the other one before you can even get this out of your mind. You're hitting this other one. We've got the guys on the helicopter flying out to Fort Levine, from Fort Levine to the hospital in Frederickson, Maryland, and they're taking a look out the hospital, or out the helicopter door there, and they see all these zombies heading for Fort Levine. So they report it back, just said, just let you know. It appears you've got a huge batch of this infected army heading towards you. And so they asked the doctor, the good doctor, Dr. Ulster. This is Dr. Ulster. I can't think what the other guy's name is. There's 2 doctors. And they ask him, what should we do? And he says, use fire. We can save the ammo that way. So they plan on torching all these attackees, or attackers, I should say. Back on the Gibberish, they got the charts out. They figure out there's this one resort that was deserted a year earlier. It went bankrupt. And so they're going to head there because they believe all the supplies were left behind there. Then we cut right back to Mercy Hospital in Frederick. It's Frederick, Maryland. And the helicopter is going to land on the roof of the hospital, and they're going to go into the hospital that way. Now, they all have body cams on there, and they've been in contact with the doctor down here. So they creep down the stairway, knowing that if they rouse suspicion on one of these zombies, then all of them will know, and they will all come. So they're able to make their way to the... Oh, so it cuts right back to the other one. They scamper off the boat at the dock of this abandoned resort, and they go to prepare to get supplies and propane. Meanwhile, back at Fort Levine, they're watching the body cams of the soldier, and they're able to find the doctor. He's still alive. He's been hiding. He has the samples. They pass the samples on immediately because they feel the samples are more important than the doctor, and then they start to make their way on back to the helicopter, back up the stairways to the helicopter. Unfortunately, and to the chagrin of the people back at Fort Levine who are watching the body cams, one of the zombies wanders in. They take him down, and they know that they got to make a break for it now. And they get totally attacked, and they start getting picked off. The squadron starts getting picked off one by one. The good doctor gets caught. So there's just a couple of them left going up the stairs with the samples, trying to get away. There's just like 3 of them. And they're watching all this horror back at Fort Levine on the body cams there, and they can't believe what they're seeing. It's not looking good. So they continue to ascend the stairs, and you can see there's a number of stairs, and there's a number of the infected going up the stairways. It's just this crazy chase. So one by one they're kind of falling, but the last guy is able to make it to the hospital with the samples. As the doctor says, the cost. Meanwhile, back at the resort beach, these guys find some propane in one of the camp stoves there, right by this beautiful 69 Mustang Mach 1. Now, I had a 69 Mustang Coupe. I did not have the Mach 1, but it was red like this. I love that car. Had it 11 years before I sold it in perfect condition. But, yeah, I miss that car to this day. But they did a nice job drawing it. As you can tell, totally tell it's a 69 Mustang. Okay, so they make it back. 2 of them make it back with the propane. The other 2 guys are coming back with the food. Unfortunately, from the boat, they can see there's trouble on the shoreline as gunfire has broken out. So we see these guys. Oh, we're back at Fort Levine here. They're bringing the propane, not the propane, but the gasoline over because they plan on just burning all these people that are out there, just taking them out that way to save ammo. Meanwhile, the doctor and the leader of the Fort Levine, commander of Fort Levine, they decide to go downstairs into the underground labs to discuss and do things with the samples further, see if they can come up with something. Just then, actually they haven't got the samples yet because the helicopter lands, and the one guy comes out, the last remaining guy comes out with the samples and gives them to the doctor. Meanwhile, back at the beach resort, they're on the dock now. The 2 guys with the food, one guy made it to the boat, he's got the food on there. The other guy is standing back, holding back, just continuing to shoot. He's telling them, just go, go, go. And he stays there until the very, very end and gives the prayer, I walk through the shadow of death. And he is overrun by the zombies. Very stirring moment in this comic. Meanwhile, back at Frederick County, this is where it all kind of started. This is one of the farmhouses. It's near Fort Levine. This is kind of where the whole plague started, in this farmhouse where a dog ran off into the woods and was attacked and bit by something. We see that there appears to be a congregation going on there. We're back on the boat. The people are discussing the loss of their friend Harvey, who was a military veteran. And this is where it comes to light that Harvey was actually bit while they were out on the resort. And so he gave what life he had left so that the others could live. But his friend Alan is very despondent at this point, goes off to get drunk. Back at the Frederick County farmhouse where this all started, there's just kind of this orgy of grotesqueness going on. And I believe this woman here, she may be the key to she may be like the queen of the hive. That's what I'm thinking as she looks out and watches the zombies go by, but I'm not sure. That's kind of my thought on this, because that hasn't been determined yet. What is the central point of all this hive activity? Meanwhile, back at Fort Levine, they are looking at the samples and they come up with a radical solution here. They talk about infecting everybody with the plague because they found that the plague actually kills this virus that these people have. And they do have a cure for the plague. So if they give people the plague and they get bit, the plague will kill the new virus, and then they can give them the vaccine for the plague. So the one military guy doesn't like it at all. He thinks it's a crazy idea, or might be the commander there. But they're kind of running out of options at this point. Meanwhile, on the Gibberish, the sailing boat, they're just kind of floating off, and we've got Alan still very despondent, just kind of sulking in the seas. So very good. Now I believe this is the cover for the next one. It appears as though, maybe the doctor from the hospital is breaking through at the Fort Levine, but he's on fire because they've been torching everybody. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. This is supposed to have come out last month, so they are running behind on this. We just got issue 3 maybe a couple weeks ago. But I am loving this book, and I suggest anybody that likes a good sci-fi, terror, horror, zombie will like this as well. It's just really strong writing, very strong editing. The drawing is intense. There you go. You got certain things that pop out at times that mean things. Like, this car just meant a lot to me because I had the almost exact same car. But just the way it's drawn, the drawing is just excellent. And anyway, so we're giving this the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating seal of approval, given out only by Indie Comics Jones on this particular channel, except no substitutes. So thanks for stopping by and watching this review of Rabid World. Hope you come back soon. We got a little more comics to come. As always, please please subscribe if you haven't. Please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.